I've had more people ask me about my R1 than any other watch I've ever worn. Hey, I'm Matt Hoffman, surfer and watch enthusiast. First and foremost, I believe in what the Veyer brand stands for. Every watch they produce is built with purpose, and I feel that every time I put my watch on. Affordable, good looking, built for any adventure. What more could you want from a watch company?
Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas. Today's board review, the Great White Twin by Slater Designs. Tons of requests for this review. I've got special guest Ian from Woolly TV, riding it in West Oz. My buddy Asa Cascavilla and I putting it through the paces at Waco. This is a stock 5.6, coming in at 26.3 liters. I'm 5'9" and 172 pounds. This will be fun. Sit back, get your favorite drink, enjoy the show. Now, the first place I want to start is the board attributes. If you follow the show, I'm huge into twin fins. Since I've been riding them for a few years now, it's what I really want to ride all the time. What I like about the Great White Twin is they give that third box for a stabilizer option, and I really feel like that will really help a lot of the surfers in our community get used to riding a twin fin, then maybe removing the stabilizer and ride it purely as a twin fin so you can get the feel of both. Now, it has a performance outline, meaning relatively pulled in nose, pulled in tail, giving you a high performance feel underfoot. It does have a little wing or bump here right behind the side fins, giving it something to pivot off of, reducing that surface area so you can do nice tight turns. The other thing I want to point out is how tapered or pinched the rail is. And with the rail being tapered or pinched, that's what you're going to get at high speeds. It's going to penetrate the wave surface, and I'm going to make it easy for me to keep it on rail and not get disengaged in bumpy conditions. Now, in the pool, I chose the 5.6 at 26.3 liters because I can ride less volume there. I want the board a little bit shorter. However, if I were to grab this board because of the rail design, I would probably go up one stock size to 5.7, and I think that comes in at 27.5 liters. Just so I had a little bit more extra foam. With me being at 172 pounds, the 5.7 suits me better in the ocean, and I don't have to worry about the board not penetrating on bottom turns and cutbacks because it has a high performance rail. It's also a lower apex on the rail, moving the edge of the rail down so I can penetrate. The board had great traction. We can't just attribute traction to the rail design. We've also got to talk about its rocker. And for me, this board has a decent amount of rocker. I would say medium entry, medium exit, and that's also going to give me traction. Every time the board rolled over, I felt like I could push. Now, it does have a deeper swallowtail, and the deeper it goes, the bigger or the more this point is going to give me traction when I'm on the toe side rail or hillside rail. This point's engaged, that's also going to give me hold. So there's a lot of moving parts here that are giving us a high performance feel. Now, bottom contours, I would say it's running a double all the way through. I didn't notice any V in the back here. And what I like about a double concave is the way the water flows between the fins actually helps it roll over rail to rail real smooth. Now, I felt like the board liked to get in the pocket real quick, which is not a surprise to me if this being one of Kelly's designs. But I noticed that when the wave got real hollow, I wanted to match the curve in the wave with the curve in the board, and that's where this board felt the best. Now I want to talk about the fins because the fins made a big deal on how this board performed. I rode this board for 9 hours in the pool. That's well over 100 waves. So I really wanted to feel what the board had to offer. I got Kelly's fins with 2 different stabilizers. I started with my Pivot Twins and my stabilizer just to go with what I'm familiar with underfoot, and it felt great. I felt like it had the hold, it had the drive, and it was doing everything I would expect a high-performance twin fin board to do at the pool. Now, from here, I went to Kelly's fins with no stabilizer. And I was a little nervous. I thought maybe it wouldn't have the hold. When I talk about not having hold, it's not that I can't do the turn, it's that it slides out on you at times. And that happens a lot when the fin boxes aren't put back far enough. So I didn't have any problem with Kelly's fins sliding out. The board was really quick top to bottom, and I got to surf the pool the way I want. Multiple turns in a row with good flow, purely as a twin fin. And I personally like that because it has no drag from the center fin, and that is a true twin fin from my perspective. Now, how did it feel in the drive category? When I talk about it having hold and not sliding out, that's good. But when I want to hit a roundhouse at the pool and I have to come off and rebound, and when I get that rebound and come right back into the section again, it all happens super fast. And I felt like with Kelly's twins or mine, they're a little bit bigger than typical twin fins, so there's good surface area and good hold. I couldn't get enough drive out of the board because that wave happened so fast. Now, I did get it with my stabilizer in the back, and I got one with the small stabilizer in Kelly's. This is the difference, guys. When you put a stabilizer in the back, it's gonna tighten up the board a little bit. Depending on the size of the stabilizer will depend on how tight the board gets. So I like what Kelly's done here. He gave you 2 stabilizers to choose from in his twin plus trailer setup. I went with just this one because I had enough hold and pivot from his fins. This gave me a little bit more something to push off of to get more drive through the turns. And I'm talking about gaining speed through turns. I was holding speed with the twin fin, but I couldn't get it to come around because I'd get all the way to here, and to get up into that lip, I could hit it, but I didn't have enough speed to come out of that turn. So I want to point out the different stabilizer sizes and shapes. I would say these two have a similar shape, but this has more surface area and more fin depth going into the water. So this one's going to give you more drive and more hold, but it's going to tighten up the board a lot. Now, my stabilizer is going to even be a little bit more fin in the water and maybe a little bit more surface area up in here. So it's going to be even tighter than that. And then this stabilizer actually has a different shape. It goes even deeper than my fin, but it might have less surface area here. The reason I point all this stuff out is you're looking for a feel underfoot. And what you put in as a stabilizer is going to change or alter the way the board feels. Riding it as a twin fin is going to have speed. Putting a stabilizer is going to make it a little bit tighter and give you something to push off of. If you feel like it's sliding around too much, go to the bigger stabilizer and then maybe even try a different one or even go with one deeper. The point is, I think the board and where the fin boxes are give you unlimited options to get this board to feel exactly how you want.
Great to be back on Surf and Show with Noel. I'm Ian from Woolly TV, and we've got the Slater Great White. I've gone the 6.0 at 36 litres, and I've been running it with this little fin combo here. I have run it as a pure twin, but I do like it more with the trailer, especially when it gets overhead. Let's see how it goes. Let's hope this thing doesn't find any of its mates out there. Out in the Great White, 6.0, 36 litres. Definitely preferred it as with the trailer in there. So I had the Endorfins in the front. I've been running this little Futures trailer because I seem to like that in a lot of boards. It has heaps of hold when you like that. When it's a pure twin, I did find a little slidey once it got around head high. It didn't grovel for me all that well. I preferred it when it was around shoulder high and bigger, and even had it in some, overhead surf that were powerful where I'd normally run a performance board, and it went pretty good. Anyway, thanks guys at Slater Designs and Mike Wu.
Got a bunch of time on the Great White, a few different days on it, a few different hours, and rode it in some different waves too at Waco. Not just the typical 4-wave set, got to ride a 3-wave set, some things like that, but the Great White 10 is a great outline. I think I love, you pick the board up, the shape, it's a pretty board. I'm more of a neutral front-footed surfer, so I had to adjust to that. I got on it the first few hours and I struggled on it. But it started to come together, and I started to study some of the footage and realized that I just needed to shift my weight more.
Yeah.
And once I started to do that, the board started to light up for me.
Right.
And I had some great turns on it. Fell on some stuff that was maybe not, my weight wasn't distributed accurately, but it was super fun, and I'd love to try the board in the ocean.
So that was one of the things that you and I talk a lot about a bunch is, a board's designed a particular way. I would say most pros that surf on tour are heavily back-footed surfers. They're driving it off the tail and they're pushing the rock around. And one of the things that I noticed about the Great White Twin is it does have a bit of rocker to it. And I remember talking to you about when you were riding that board, is like, hey, so I think maybe shifting your weight back would actually do some good on that board. You might actually get it to squirt and keep the rail engaged longer. And then you started to surf really good on it. And I felt like you said you started connecting with the board. It's so easy to say, if you don't transfer your weight back and try and adapt to surfing the board and really learn to surf the board the way it was designed.
Right. No, that's a great point. And I'm now that we're kind of walking through this board, I think it helped me and it helped my surfing. Whereas you would never see that unless you really tried to move your weight and shift it back, right. Which I had to do. It forced me to do it because I was bogging the rail so much when I lay into it. As soon as you said that, I'd stand up and I'd be like, okay, where's my feet doing? You know what I mean? I'm going to come off the bottom. Where am I pushing? Do I have the weight back far enough? Am I pushing off the back foot, or am I more neutral again?
Right.
So yeah, I think it was a great experience for me so that I could get my surfing to where I wanted it to be, which is more back-footed.
Right. One of the things I didn't mention about the board, and a lot of guys in our community have been asking me, have I ridden the volcanic ash construction? My initial put it in my hand for the first time, I'll say it felt a bit on the heavy side, more like a PU poly. I would guess with the traction pad, no wax, probably 5.5 pounds. And that's pretty typical, a light PU poly for me, maybe a little over 5 pounds. But when it's not windy out here and I'm surfing, I want my boards to be light, quick, and snappy. So I'd like my EPS epoxy boards to be light. However, today I would say the offshore is blowing like 15, 20 knots, and the left has so much offshore blowing up my face that the weight of the board actually feels pretty good. It's a little bit more substantial, and I'm feeling like it feels better into that wind where it's windy and the board feels stable, and it's one of the first times I felt that. I actually prefer a little bit of weight on the board. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's review on the Great White Twin by Slater Designs. Special shout out thanks to Kelly for sending the board for review, Ian and Asa helping me with the board review. Now I want to talk about who I recommend this board for. I say it's for that intermediate all the way to pro level surfers to have fun on a twin fin. You have the option of the stabilizer. You can get used to riding it and then switch to a pure twin and actually have even more fun. Now I say it's more of a daily driver or a small wave performance board. I feel like this board needs a little bit of wave or curve in the wave for it to go well. Will it be fun in 2 to 3 foot surf? Yeah, as long as it's not mushy and slow. Put it in the right type of wave, get the fins dialed. You guys are gonna have fun. Look, if you like the show, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Until next time, we'll see you in the water. Bye-bye.